Alright, testing, sound should be good. We're going to go look at Bitcoin, then we'll look at Jasmy. Before we get started and I go through the stream, I'm going to actually just make a video while we're going live and talk about Jasmy. I will not be live on Monday. I'm out of town. Friday we'll be back to our normal live time, which is usually in the afternoon, but I'm headed out this morning. So let's look at Jasmy, and we'll get started on Bitcoin in just a few minutes. Alright. So right now Jasmy has broken the support at 1.1 cents. It had a capitulation all the way down to 10.07. So it looks like the next stop is probably all the way down here at 9/10 of a penny. So that is still quite a nice drop. So really this is definitely not a buy. Actually, maybe I should be shorting this right now. The next support is 17% lower. So Jasmy could come quite a bit lower. Actually, that's from the bottom of the wick. You actually still have 18% to go lower to the next support. There could be some psychological support at a penny, but the next major support is really down there at 9/10 of a penny. So if we saw 9/10 of a penny in the next day or so, I would not be surprised at all. But let's go look at how the RSI is looking on the daily time frame. The daily time frame is still neutral. RSI is currently at 31. The 4-hour chart is completely bottomed out, so that is interesting. The 1-hour chart still has to correct, so maybe that's why we'll go down to 9/10 of a penny. And let's look at the 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart has also bottomed out. The 7-minute chart has bottomed out as well. So the only time frame that really still needs a major correction would be the 1-hour chart and the daily chart on Jasmy. And 3-day chart is still in an uptrend, and as far as the weekly chart is concerned, that's bottomed out as well. So overall, I think we're very close to a bottom, but you know, I would say 9/10 of a penny is the bottom unless Bitcoin cannot hold. It's already lost $30,000. So I would say if Bitcoin can't hold 28,800, then Jasmy will go even lower than 9/10 of a penny. If it can hold $28,800, then I would say short-term 9/10 of a penny is the low. But I think if you were to make a new low, at least on the daily or weekly chart, you'd have to lose the just below 8/10 of a penny, 7.9. If you lost that, that would be a new low for Jasmy, which would be extremely bearish, not only for Jasmy, but for the whole crypto market. So we'll see what happens with Jasmy. Short term, I still think there's more downside to be had with Jasmy. All right. Let's go over look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, so far, I'll look at Link after Bitcoin. So right now, Bitcoin is at $29,500. The next support, like I just said for Jasmy on the Jasmy video, is $28,800 on Bitcoin. So that's kind of where Bitcoin is headed. That's short term where it looks like we're going to be headed. If you don't hold that, you're looking at 28,000. Wait, if you don't hold that, yeah, $28,800 is the next support. And below that, you're looking at $28,200. To the upside, your next resistance, your 30,000 is resistance. If you break that, then you're looking at $31,800 as resistance. Let's see how the RSI is looking. We'll start on the daily time frame and go down from there. Daily time frame has a lot more downside that could be had. It's currently at 68, so neutral on the RSI, but still has a lot more downside possibly. It is in a downtrend. But the 4-hour chart has completely bottomed on Bitcoin as far as the RSI is concerned. The 1-hour chart is in a downtrend, so that could mean more downside action. The 15-minute chart is starting to get the bounce, and the 7-minute chart for Bitcoin on the RSI is getting the bounce as well. So 1-hour chart still needs to correct, and the 4-hour chart is okay. So 1-hour and daily chart, just like for Jasmy, also needs to correct. So there could be more downside action for Bitcoin into this weekend. One thing I do want to look at is the fear and greed index is really low. We are at 13. I think the recent low was 10. I thought it even went to 9 at one point. But overall, Bitcoin, unfortunately, we are in extreme fear. So I do think we are about to get the bounce on the daily and weekly time frame, but short term we could be looking for downside action at least during this weekend. $28,800 is the next support, and it's looking like that's where Bitcoin's going to go at least today or tomorrow, possibly Sunday. I think it's going to happen sooner than Sunday, but we will see. Someone wanted to look at Link. Let's go look at Link. Great call on Ocean. Yeah. All right, so right now, Link is at $8.55. This is one I hold a small bag of. So I hope long term this does really well. I think it will do really well. It looks like the recent low from let me go to the daily chart. Okay, so on the daily chart or on any chart, the low was 5.27 cents. Currently sitting, got a nice bounce off of that low, and we are currently sitting at $8.55. You just broke the resistance here, which was at $8.30, which the fact that you never, I don't even know if that's resistance actually, because on the way down you never held that support, and on the way up it's not really much resistance. You did get a bounce off of the $4.70 level, so that is support. The next resistance that I have here would be the $12 region on Jazz on Link. The RSI is completely overbought. Short term I might be looking for a short on this. Daily chart's completely overcooked, so if you wanted to play the daily chart, you might be doing okay if you played a short on this, and we're willing to wait a few weeks or a week or two at least for a short. I'm looking for downside action based off of that, but the 4-hour chart is completely is in the oversold territory at the 10 level, and the 1-hour chart has basically bottomed and trying to get the small bounce, and the 15-minute chart is oversold. So actually the only time frame that really would be good for a short would be the daily time frame. So with that being the case, I probably wouldn't open a short on it with the smaller time frames ready for a bounce. 15-minute and 7-minute already trying to get the bounce. 7-minute at least. Its 15-minute chart probably is about to get the bounce as well. So 1-hour chart, it doesn't look awful. 4-hour chart could come down a little bit more, but overall, probably sometime go early next week, I would look for a nice bounce on Link. The daily chart does need to come down, but smaller time frames are saying before we come down, we're probably going to get one more bounce to the upside, but probably won't happen. I would say it will happen in the next 3 days if we're going to get another bounce. So that's kind of what I see on Chainlink. So I would say short term, you could go up a little bit more because smaller time frames need to get the bounce. But on the daily chart, I would say within the next 2 weeks, you're going to come back down and probably test the $7 region on $7 or $8 region at least on Link. So that's kind of how Link goes. Let me know if there's any other requests. Appreciate the follow. If you guys are new, appreciate if you like and subscribe. If you are on TikTok, hit the follow button, especially if you guys are new. All right, so do we buy ETH now? I mean, that would be a really good question. Let's go over and look at ETH. So let's start the daily time frame and look at the RSI and go from there. So daily time frame would say you're already falling over. You were overbought. Yeah, you were overbought, and now you're getting a correction. You're currently at 72 on the RSI. The 4-hour chart is completely bottomed, so short term there will be a bounce probably sometime this weekend. The 1-hour chart is already bottoming out. The 15-minute chart is getting the bounce, and this 7-minute is getting the bounce. Ethereum right now, based on what I just saw, looks a lot more bullish than Bitcoin for this weekend. So I do think Ethereum this weekend is going to be more bullish than it. I think Ethereum will be more bullish than Bitcoin this weekend. But remember, if Bitcoin dumps, probably everything will dump, even if Ethereum's setups look good. If Bitcoin can hold 28,800, then I think I think Ethereum could actually do something this weekend because the 4-hour chart has completely bottomed, the 1-hour chart has completely bottomed, the 15-minute chart has bottomed and getting the bounce, and the smaller time frame, 7 minutes, saying we are going to get a bounce short term like right now. But it depends if you're asking to buy ETH long term or short term. Short term for this weekend and for the next few days, I am bullish on Ethereum. But when I go look at the 6-hour chart, that's still in a downtrend. The 12-hour chart is definitely in a downtrend, and the daily chart is still up all the way up here, 70. So daily chart for Ethereum does not look good to me right now. It still looks like more downside action is to be had. But below, and even the 6-hour and 12-hour is saying a little more downside action is going to happen. Daily chart is saying a lot more downside action is going to happen. So short term, 4-hour and less look really bullish, but daily chart and above, I would not be buying it if you're going to. I think we'll probably see a new low on Ethereum this bear market. Yeah, at least short term. So this weekend, I'm bullish on Ethereum, but for the next few weeks, I would say Ethereum is probably going to be in a downtrend until the daily chart bottoms out on the RSI. If you just go to the daily chart, we have had a lot of red days. And let me go to the weekly chart. I mean, Bitcoin had its first green weekly candle in, I think, 9 weeks last week. And as for Ethereum, we have not had a green week yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Ethereum is about to have its 9th straight red week. So it's had a worse correction than Bitcoin has. So I would say Ethereum short term for dead cat bounce or a relief rally is probably due very, very soon, with the 4-hour chart and everything below that being oversold. But the daily chart is still saying the downtrend probably won't. Downtrend will probably continue on Ethereum. So I would not say it's time to buy Ethereum just yet for this bear market. But if you're trying to do a trade short term, it does look good for a 4-hour trade or less. So the 4-hour chart would probably take you throughout this entire weekend to play out, or at least through Sunday morning. So through Sunday morning, I would be bullish on Ethereum. All right. Let me know if there's any other requests. Quant, I can look at Quant. Yeah, so Quant is in a complete downtrend on the weekly chart. This has had, since I'm on the weekly chart, I'll just look at this first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the 10th red candle on the weekly chart. You've had 2.5 months of just downside action. So I think a lot of these coins are due for a relief bounce. By the way, ever since it came on Coinbase, it's about to make a new low. The low on Coinbase was $56.83, and currently, I guess you did make a new low a few weeks ago at $43.44. It's about to test that region again here very soon. So Quant short term is probably due for a relief bounce after 10 straight red weeks, but we will see what happens. Let's go to the RSI. RSI in the weekly chart is completely bottomed now. It can't go any lower. It needs to bounce. 3-day chart is already getting the bounce. The daily chart is in a downtrend, so yikes. The 6-hour chart is bottomed out. The 4-hour chart is trying to bottom out. The 1-hour chart on Quant is in a downtrend, and it's very close to bottoming out. The 15-minute chart is trying to get to bounce. So it's a lot of different time frames saying a lot of different things. It doesn't look as bullish to me as Ethereum, but yeah, the daily chart has not bottomed out yet. The 3-day chart's trying to get the bounce, but that's even losing some momentum. The only time frame that looks extremely bullish to me is the weekly chart. But if you were going to take a trade on the weekly chart, that would be a several month-long trade. So I would say I'm not as bullish as I am on Quant as I am on Ethereum this weekend, because all these time frames are saying different things. The 15-minute chart short term will get a bounce. The 1-hour chart still has a little more downside action to go. The 4-hour chart is already rolling over. It never even got above the RSI level of 9, so that doesn't have much room to go down, but it still doesn't look very good. The 6-hour chart looks okay for a trade. The 12-hour chart looks decent. Daily chart is in a downtrend still, currently at 43, and probably going to keep going lower on the RSI. So I would stay away from Quant because all these time frames are saying different things. Unless you're going to take a trade on the weekly chart for Quant, it's way too risky in my opinion to take a trade. Now I do think a relief bounce is due very, very soon because you've had 10 weekly red candles. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen today or tomorrow. So I would not be taking a trade on Quant. But as far as a weekly time frame goes, it does look bullish on that time frame. That's the only time frame it looks bullish on right now. So that's kind of it. We went over Bitcoin, Jasmine, Link, and Quant. If there's any other requests, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna probably have to get out of here pretty soon. We will be live next time. It will be next Friday. Next Friday afternoon probably, because Monday I'll be out of town. If you guys are new, appreciate if you like and subscribe. And so going back to Bitcoin, what do I think will happen for this week before we get out of here is Bitcoin is currently at 29.3. I would expect us to test the $28,800 level based on the RSI. RSI on the daily chart is oversold. Was overbought, getting the correction down. The 4-hour chart has bottomed out. The 1-hour chart has more downside to go, and the 15-minute chart trying to get the bounce. So short term we get a small bounce, but I do think we will see at some point this weekend at least 20,800, which I guess would only be $500 lower. If you break that, you're looking at 28,200. If you were to get the bounce off this $28,800 support to the upside, you would be looking at $30,000, and then above that, $31,800 would be your next resistance. So those are the targets I would be watching out for. If this happens, then something else would happen. Short term though, I do think 28,800 is going to get tested. If you hold it, then obviously 30K would be the next target. If you don't, then 28.2 would be the next target. So that's what I do think will happen this weekend. If anything changes, I can make videos this weekend. I just won't go live on Monday. So with that being said, that's kind of all I got. And if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe. I go live 2 times a week, and I make videos almost every day. So I will see you guys on our next live stream. Until then, trade safe, and hopefully Bitcoin can bounce off this $28,800 support. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Yep. Have a good day, Alexander, or Alex, or whatever, however I should say your name.